Morning, guys. Raptor Freak Alexiot's here Saturday morning. After a tough 1-point loss to the Cleveland Cavaliers last night at Scotiabank Arena, we were beating them the whole game. We had the lead from the very start of the game, and then right at the end, the last 5 seconds, they get a go-ahead, and they win by 1 point. It's tough. I mean, it sucks. I hate feeling like how I felt after the game last night, but it's stuff that happens. Like, you get these kind of games throughout the season, and it just happens sometimes. And we had this kind of game last night, but it's good because it's a good learning experience for the young guys. And Scotty really, I could tell he wanted to make that tip in. And if he'd had a second more, just like a one little half second more, he would have made it and we would have won the game. Woulda, coulda, shoulda is a lot of that last night because there were a lot of things we could have done a lot better that could have ensured we won the game. But, the woulda, coulda, shoulda, I thought at the end that could have been better is OG picked up his dribble and he dribbled a couple steps towards the basket. He could have just shot the ball when he got it because he was kind of open at the top of the lane. And then we could have gotten 2 shots because we're really good at offensive rebounding. If he didn't make that shot at the top of the key instead of going straight to the basket, then maybe Scotty would have had some time with that within the 4.8 to collect it and put it back, or somebody down there. But just poor execution in general in the last 5 minutes of the game by the Raptors offense. We had shots. Fred and OG got shots near the end of the game to put us up and keep us going, but they didn't make them. Our offense really stalled pretty bad in the last 5 minutes. So the biggest culprit last night is execution in the end of the game. We just didn't execute properly to make sure that we won the game. And there's a lot of factors involved in this. I mean, between their height and the fact that they were able to go over our backs and do all kinds of crazy stuff against us last night on rebounds that wasn't getting called. The fact that OG has gone 2 games straight without going to the free throw line in games that have been very physical where he's driving and he should be getting free throws. And there's some sort of unwritten law that OG Anunoby does not get free throws right now. The referees may even have an underlying bulletin that they're getting when the Raptors play before the game. Don't give OG Anunoby any free throws and put him on the line because it's looking very directed like that. This is 2 straight games where he's got 0, and he even said something about it in the press conference last night. It's very true that they're not giving him any kind of calls, and that's bullshit. That is pure manipulative bullshit that OG Anunoby hasn't even gotten 1 free throw in the last 2 games with how physical both games have been. Because Cleveland is a lot like us. They're very scrappy. They may not have the length overall, but they have 2 really tall guys and 2 really active little guys. And they do a lot of stuff. And they were doing it last night. And they do look a little scary. But to me, Cleveland at this point, with what they're doing with their nucleus, is so young. They're going to make a lot of rookie mistakes. And they're going to lose a lot. Still, they're having some success right now just because Evan Mobley's new and they're finding out all this new synergy with them. But I don't think that they're built to last as far as this year for being a real contender. I still think that there may be a play-in team right around near the bottom, and they may be like an 8th seed, and they may win the play-in. But I don't think that they're a top team in the East, and they could have a couple things go wrong for them this year, and they could miss the playoffs even too. But I wasn't impressed with them, especially early in the game. They were making a lot of rookie mistakes. They were really, really prone to turnovers, and we were getting them. See, all the stats, if you look at the team stats from last night, they would all point to us dominating this win because we got 17 more shots than them. We got more points in the paint. We out-rebounded them. We did all the right things to beat them. It's just that right at the last second, that 1 point. And seriously, that if there isn't some sort of objective or initiative by NBA refs to try and stymie the Raptors from winning, last night was a case for it. Because seriously, that we had home court and we were getting visitor calls last night. That it's just messed up. It's so dirty and wrong. All right, ref manipulation lesson for the day. The jump ball. What the hell was all those jump balls last night? It's almost like these refs knew we were playing against Twin Towers and that we'd have to do a bunch of jump balls against taller guys than us. So, hey, let's just call a bunch of weird jump balls throughout the game and make them jump. And who won most of those jump balls? Cleveland. So there's just a lot of weird, subtle, little manipulative things that the referees were doing last night. And they were pissing me off because there were a lot of calls they should have called, fouls on us. There's no freaking way that the Raptors should have had 9 free throws shot last night. And the other thing is a lot of the fouls they call for against Cleveland and, for us are non-shooting fouls. So they cheat us out of free throws by making them like, oh, they're fouls on the court or they're fouls here. So we don't get points. So, oh my gosh, I'm so pissed about last night. But in a lot of ways, I'm pissed at our team for not executing and not doing the right things to overcome all this stuff that we know that we got to overcome every game. Because that's just the reality of the landscape. And they know that. It's just so stupid that we let the little bit of sunshine through the door that they came and got it and won the game at the end. And obviously a lot of people, all the cynics, all the negative Raptor fans are all going to be saying, yeah, they're garbage because of this. I hate you, the fake Raptor fans. Anybody who's putting out content today dissing the Raptors and saying that last night is the true Raptors and all that kind of stuff, fuck you. Go do something else. Go be a fan of something else. Like, you obviously don't care about the Raptors enough to really make good content, that you just want to tear things down. So maybe you should go cover something else, or maybe you should get another hobby, because you're not doing a good job of covering this team. We're talking about them in a fair way. You might as well be those refs last night. All right, let's see how you guys are doing. I'm glad you all are here with me. The real ones. Okay, MK47. Yeah, this was a tough one. OG was drawing doubles. Scotty just missed the tip in so close. Yeah, Scotty had a half second more. It was going in. It went in. But like I said, it might have been more interesting or better if OG hadn't taken the dribble and gone for that higher percentage, closer shot. If he had shot it when he first caught the ball, we could have gotten 2 field goal attempts within the 4.8 seconds. But he woulda, coulda, shoulda. It happened the way it did, and OG could have made that shot. It wasn't a bad shot. That's the thing. We're getting tough shots and clutch moments, and our guys just aren't hitting them, whether it was Fred in that one game that we lost with Dallas or, OG with this one. But we've had clutch stuff happen besides this. And, this isn't something to get down or anything like that. If this is the one dumb lose by 1 point game for the season, let's get it out of the way now. Because these guys are going to know this, like, all right, all through the game, each possession, each thing that we do, it all accumulates up to whether we win or not. And we didn't do enough. We didn't put enough water in that jug to fill it up to the top to make it so that we won. And honestly, 5 for 9 for free throws when you're only getting 9 free throws is awful. And all of them missed. They all got up there and missed their first free throw and then made the second one. And that's messed up. But maybe also that's partly attributed to the fact that they're getting nailed and knocked around. I think that half of Fred's misses are because he's just collecting himself from actually getting knocked the fuck hard. And that he's missing his first free throws on his free throw attempts just because he's have to collect himself. And his body's just like, oh, I just got hit. So it's pissing me off that we're losing by 1 and missing 4 free throws. That these are free throws. These are free. We need to make them. And the refs are being stingy with giving them to us. So we really need to make them. And there's been some games this year that we've made almost 100% of our free throws, if not 100% of our free throws. And those are good games. But tonight we didn't. We got 5 for 9. And that to me really bugs me, especially when the margin's that close. So, all right, let's see what G's saying this morning. Good morning, G. Glad to see you. The game was frustrating. The Raps beat them in 9 out of 13 categories. Yes, they didn't dominate us in the paint like they could have, like they do to many teams. They didn't. They were okay. Now look at this. All right, here's another thing that's crazy. That fluke-ass 3-point shot by Jared Allen. Take that out of the mix. That's 3 points right there. That was a fluke-ass shot. If that's not involved in the accumulation of the game, we win. Okay, here's another one. The refs went back and looked at Fred's 3-point shot and saw that his foot was on the line, and they shaved a point off our score. That's, first of all, I understand that's part of the new NBA. and that with the instant replay, they can go back and do shit like that. I hate when they do that like 5-10 minutes later, though. Like when they don't do it right away, like you need to go check that right now if you really think that his foot was on the line or something like that. But when you go back and check it later and then fucking you take a point off somebody, because in the old NBA, you didn't have that and you would just count it and it would just stick. And that pisses me off too in some ways. That, you know, they're going to go back and check all of our 3-point shots and make sure our feet are behind the line. They better be doing that to all the other teams in the league too, because some of them teams, they're probably not. Because I'm bet LeBron's going to have his foot on the line and they're going to give him a 3 sometimes. So, you know, it's just bullshit like that. This is what I'm saying. We got to overcome a lot of inequality in some ways. And, you know, I don't see them doing that to other teams, shaving points off of their score later, 5 minutes later, half the time. I don't see that very often. So let's see. All right. 9 out of 12 categories. Okay. MK. Yeah. And the rebound where Allen falls out and they call it a push or something. Man, there was so many like ticky-tack calls for us. Meanwhile, they're hacking us. They're killing us, and we're not getting anything. It was such bullshit. Like, such bullshit. And what Nick said after the game is true. Like, if you're a certain height, you can just get away with being over the back. Because, you know, Jared Allen goes straight up for an offensive rebound and do something like that. Sure. But if you're boxed out and you're reaching over somebody's shoulders, that's an offensive foul. Even if you don't totally hit them. Because not offensive foul, that's over the back. So it's like, frustrating. But the thing is frustrating the most to me is we weren't good enough to overcome all of that together. Because in other games this week, we have been. This is the same shit that happened in Washington, except we overcame it. We just didn't have that just little bit enough to just overcome it in the end. And there's all these little areas where we could have been just a little bit better, improved just that little bit more, and then we would have won. Because honestly, if you look at some of the stats, we should have blown them out of the water. We had 17 more shots than them. We shot 17 more times than them yesterday. That's how we've been beating people. They've been beating people the same way, but we beat them in that game, and we still lost. All right. One of the other things that I didn't like that I think had a big part in why we lost last night was he took that starting Chem in the second half away yesterday. He started Precious in the second half. And I understand why he did it. Precious was playing better. But one of the reasons why we won these few games these couple games on the road trip was because of the Chem insertion in the second half. Because he steadied our defense into going in the second half where it was dangerous for the Cavs to come back. And the Cavs did come back. And the Cavs ate up our cushion. And then they were nipping at our heels the whole time in the fourth quarter. Just kind of trying to edge over. The refs were helping them. And we're just keeping enough defense and just scoring just enough. Not really scoring really well in the end. And I think if we had had Chem out there to start the third quarter, the defensive setting and how we played things, we might have blown it open again a little more, got a 10-point cushion. And these are just little subtle things I've noticed that's been working, Nick Nurse. Khem Birch starting the third quarter has been working for our defensive stance going into the third quarter, where it's very difficult because the team is coming back from halftime with the gumption from their coach, JB Bickerstaff, telling them this is what we need to do, this is what you need to do. Get Khem out there and just do that, please. You know, Precious is great. I don't mind him starting. He's a project. He's raw in a lot of ways. But when we need a steady, really good defensive guy down there, we need Chem in there because Chem's doing all kinds of things. He had a ton of offensive rebounds again last night. And I love what he said about the press conference after the Washington game is he hated his contract year because he had to focus on himself and scoring because he doesn't focus on himself. He's a very unselfish person. The only thing he's doing each time in each possession is analyzing what he needs to do in that specific moment to help us win in the collective, in the whole. And he's doing a beautiful job. And those kind of players in the league are really, really rare. Somebody who's so selfless and so I don't really want to score or anything else, but he can score and he can do all right. Oh, man, Khem Birch, I love him more and more the more I find out about him. But he needs to be in there in the third quarter, especially in close games where, you know, the other team's really going to try and get us. And I think that was a mistake by Nick Nurse, letting Precious start in the second half. So, all right, let's go. All right, Andrew. Let's go. All right, because Andrew's here, he's Mr. Positivity. He always pumps me up. I'm going to get some good news right now. I just read this morning that Pascal may be playing tomorrow against Brooklyn. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. At the latest, he'll be playing in Detroit next weekend. But they are saying it's a good high chance he's going to be playing tomorrow against Brooklyn, or he may be at the latest next Saturday, Detroit. But we may see him in Boston. We may see him in Philly. There's a good chance we'll see him tomorrow, though. And I love that. Pascal Siakam will be a shot in the arm, just like Andrew is for me. And he's going to come in there and he's going to have – it's going to be beautiful. People think there's going to be problems. And they're like, no, there's not. This guy is ready. This is a team. It's a we, us kind of thing. There's no selfishness and ego in this. And everybody's going to get a chance to eat. And I love that. We all got seats at the table, and they're going to all eat. Watch it. All right, MK47. We shot better percentages. Yeah, we shot better than them other than the free throws. And I think we even got more three-pointers than them. You know, they didn't shoot well. The little guys didn't shoot well last night. They were annoying. They were all over the place. Garland got a big three late, and that was really key. But it was really the big guys that were messing us up. And Osman, why can't we get to that guy? That guy's automatic with the three. And we really didn't need to let him get 17 points last night. Like that killed us a lot there, because he kind of did what I was hoping we could not let Sexton and Garland do, but Osman ended up doing a little bit of it, which was bad. And Ricky Rubio, what an interesting point in his career. He's a weird guy. I love that Scotty dunk. Oh, that Scotty dunk was nasty. I mean, that block. That was nasty, that block on Ricky Rubio. That was beautiful. I love that. Okay, Andrew, Precious was playing football out there. You know, I used to joke last year that I felt like Aaron Baines was in the wrong sport, that guy should be playing rugby. Like, he has the arms and hands of a rugby player, like in the way he holds the ball and stuff like that. He just didn't look comfortable with the basketball. And I know he's a basketball player, and I'm not trying to diss Aaron Baines just for no reason, but I always thought that he was the kind of guy that actually should be playing another sport. But yeah, Precious can play a little bit of football out there. Only football I want to see on the NBA court is when Kyle or Fred's throwing a long full court pass. That's what I like to see. And we saw a little bit of that last night. There was one play to OG ahead on the court. And what did he do? All right, where's Paul? Paul's not here right now, but we'll talk about this. I got a new addition for our dunk list. We got Scotty's three dribble full court, Dr. J hair in the air dunk. Then we got Precious Ferocity the other night. We got Svi behind the back left hand jam, and now we got OG on the break reverse, and that was a nice dunk. OG has a lot of dunks already, but they're all pretty straightforward. But last night he actually showed a little specialty dunk with his reverse, and I want to put that on the list, Paul and I's dunk list for the year. That OG reverse for sure. Let's see. Birch needs to start second half. Yeah, I would even say start him, but they really are trying to be very careful with Precious's ego, and that's probably smart, because Birch doesn't care if he starts or not. He can use him however he wants, but he's definitely somebody we need in key times when the other team's trying to come back and get there with us. In the third and fourth quarter, that's when I really want to see more Birch, is in the second half. Precious can have the first half for a good chunk of it, but it's a good switch, because you go from raw and like experimental and kind of just trying aggressive things out to more steady, and like we know he's going to handle things and take care of things for us. Because that's the thing, Birch, they're very opposite. There's chaos and stability. And chaos can be good sometimes, because chaos can be very strong and wild and ferocious. But stability sometimes is best, because it's dependable, and we know we can count on him. And that's the differences there with our centers right now. Really, that's the differences. Krishkum, good morning, man. Glad to see you this morning. Got to take care of Brooklyn next game. Oh, yeah. This is the thing. You get a bad taste in your mouth from a 1-point loss to Cleveland on a Friday night, and then you go right into the next one. And boy, is it the mayor of New York is saying that he ain't going to allow no allowances for Kyrie. So they're not going to let Kyrie play until he's allowed to play. And nobody's budging. Kyrie's like, I'm not going to get vaccinated. The mayor's saying, I'm not going to change the rules. And the team's saying, we're not going to allow you to join us until you can be here full time with us. So they're really just at a bad impasse. And, I don't feel a damn thing sorry for them. It's all brought on them, like, the way they built their team and Kyrie Irving, that's the factor. Oh, there you go. All right. But yeah, that's what I'm saying, Andrew. Pascal, maybe tomorrow. They said that this morning. Grange put it out on his Twitter that Pascal may be available tomorrow. The latest he'll be back is going to be Detroit now. So we may just miss him 3 more games, but we may not miss him any more games. It'd be real nice to have him for Boston and Philly this week. Oh, yeah. Not to mention Brooklyn tomorrow. Yeah. Let's go! All right, MK. I won more Delano minutes last night. Oh, yeah. Delano was very effective. He got 11 points last night. I love what he said after the game last night. He said he understands that he's kind of got a rotation spot, but he doesn't feel like it. He's playing every time like he has to fight for his rotation spot, and that's really, really smart. Like this kid, honestly, they both of them, they just wow me and impress me more and more with just their mentality and how they're going about their rookie seasons. Because these guys aren't normal rookies at all. They really, really aren't. They are not. Like the fact that the guy who was almost tipping the ball in to win the game last night is our number 4 pick, Scotty Barnes, says a lot. And boy, wasn't he great on the boards last night. Like getting his own shot. He's really good at fall. Like he knows when he shoots a shot how he's going to miss it. So he knows where to go get his rebound. So he rebounds his own shot really, really well. So if he misses a close shot, he's going to get that ball and put it back. I have that feeling every time Scotty shoots near the basket that he's going to clean his own shot up. Because that's what it seems like. He misses, he still makes it on the second attempt. So, I love that. All right, G. Yes, we shot 44% on 3, and they shot 33%. Yeah, we did. And once again, Gary Trent came out, and he got us started real nice, hitting some nice shots. He should have, too, because he had the mismatch. Because he was our shooting guard, and they had 2 small guards out there. So we should have killed them. We were killing them for most of the game with our mismatches, and they couldn't do shit with OG. OG would go right around them. OG could shoot over them. He was picking his spot. He was doing a great job most of the game of figuring out what the mismatch was and making the right choices. And I really love OG for it. It's just too bad that him and Fred weren't able to hit some of these late shots. That if they just one of them gone in, it just one other little thing had gone the right way for us, we would have won this game. There were just a few areas where things got fucked up, and it sucks. It sucks. But also, the way Scotty looked in his face after the game was enough for me that this was worth it, because he saw how he's like, I hate this. I could have just won us the game. I almost just won us the game. If I had gone up stronger, maybe just jammed it, I could have done it. So this is the thing. They're going to learn from this. They're going to feel this. And it's just part of the learning process. We've had 2 Friday games that have been won by 1 point. We won the first one and we lost the second one. So we had to be on the other side of the coin and get that feeling. And kudos to Cleveland. They are a scrappy team. JB Bickerstaff has got them not giving up, because easily at some point in the second half, if they were any other NBA team, certain NBA teams, they would have given up because of the way we were playing them and stifling them. They would have given up, but they didn't give up. They kept going. They're annoying. They're annoying is what they are. And I don't think that they're actually, like I said, I don't think they're actually that good. They don't shoot that well. Just like, G's saying right here, I don't think they're a very good shooting team, and they have a lot of flaws in their roster, and they don't have a very deep roster. I don't think they have a very deep roster. I mean, if you're starting Dean Wade, come on. Who is that guy? Who's Dean Wade? I mean, really, you have to start him? Whatever. All right, Andrew, we have 4 or 5 guys who can average around 20 points per game once Siakam back. Yeah, this is the thing. Even last night, Scotty and OG could operate any way they wanted to against that team, but they just didn't really utilize it as much in some ways. I mean, it is tough with the Twin Towers lurking around there. So it's really about getting your mid-range game going and getting open 3 shots, because getting near the basket is hairy with those 2 guys out there, Jared Allen there and Mobley. Mobley looks really good. Some of the stuff he did last night was impressive. But once again, like, this is the thing. If I'm looking at the Mobley versus Barnes matchup, everybody talks about with the rookies and stuff, I don't know who outscored who or whatever. I think they were pretty even for the most part. But Mobley looks more like a rookie to me than Barnes. Like, he made rookie mistakes last night. There were different things he did last night that were rookie mistakes. And Barnes, once again, he's pretty good overall with not making mistakes. I mean, he has a bad turnover here and there, but not very often. So it's pretty good.
All right, let's see what's going on here. MK47. Precious is the most likely to be pushed out when Pascal comes back. Gary has been way too good. I think that's true. If you're really looking at the 5 guys who have been starting recently with Scotty instead of Svi, I think you're right that out of the 5 of them, the guy who's been the least productive and the least consistent has been Precious. But that's still a tough thing to do. But maybe you can get away with moving him back there by saying, well, Pascal's back, and you get, but it's tough. I don't like that totally either because we don't have a real center then if we're starting. We need to have one of those 2 guys playing, Kem or Precious, because I don't like OG and Pascal handling those big guys, or even Scotty Barnes. I don't want to see Scotty Barnes do that too much early in his young career because we want him to get stronger first. It may be eventually, like in a year or 2, when he's got more muscle on him, that he can really guard pivots and be like a center, a defensive center for us. But right now, I don't want him to try and do that. With OG and Pascal, I hate them playing center. I don't want them guarding any pivots ever because of last year. Last year was just such a nightmare with them having to guard pivots. I hated that so much. But who knows? I mean, that's going to be an interesting problem. I do hear, though, when Pascal comes back, he's not going to start. He's going to be coming off the bench first. So tomorrow he may be off the bench if he does come back tomorrow, because they're going to limit his minutes. They're not going to let him play full minutes right away. He's going to be getting benched like rotational minutes first, and that'll probably be tomorrow, hopefully. Oh my gosh, let's knock on wood. Knock on wood. Come on back, Pascal. Yeah, the Nets game will be the biggest game so far of the season. I really do believe that too. I mean, it's just that it's the NBA's little like king of the hill on the East that they like to push and say that it's going to be the top dog and stuff like that. I mean, Harden hasn't looked really great this year. A lot of it due to the rule changes. But it'll be really interesting. They have a stacked team. I mean, I'm looking at their roster and everybody they got on that team. They got Patty Mills now. I'm like, oh my God. They got old Kung Fu James Johnson, and, they're an interesting team. Bembry's on that team too. But I'll do my preview tomorrow, and I'll deep dive on them tonight and really talk about where I see their weaknesses and what we can do to help hurt them. Good morning, Sue. That was tough. It was tough. So close. Yeah. It's just, like Nick Nurse said, you get a break our way, one way, where somewhere in the game, and we win. It's that close. It's that close. But it really is. We need to make sure it's execution. We got to make sure. Okay, Andrew. Yeah, Scotty looks like he hates to lose. I like that. Of course. Yeah, we need that. We need that. I used to piss me off sometimes, like when guys like Vince Carter, they lose, and he'd be smiling after the game. Like he'd have this big smile, and he'd be hugging the other team and stuff. It's almost like he was in cahoots with them somehow, some way. I mean, come on, Vince, get some competitive edge against your opponents instead of being all friends with everybody. That used to really piss me off. And I love this guy. He's not like that. That he did. He looked really disappointed after that basket and losing by 1 point. I know they did, because that's what they're all about. They don't play to lose. They want to win. Andrew, that Jared Allen bank 3 killed us. That doesn't go in. We win. I know. There's so many different little things that could have happened different. Like, imagine if they didn't go back and check that Fred shot and it just stuck on there and we were tied at the end of the game. We were going overtime. It's just, the bouillabaisse ingredients for last night just got us to that point. And it's sickening to me when you've led a game, the whole game, and just in the last 5 seconds you lose. That's sickening to me. I mean, that's awful. That just really sucks, because it's really that close, and you lost that by that little. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Sue, we'll take this loss out on Brooklyn on Sunday. Yeah, I hope so. And like I said, this morning on Twitter, they're saying Pascal could be back tomorrow. So this is really good. On the other side, Utah's had a setback even further, guys. So it's sounding like Utah's not going to be back for like a month now. So that sucks for Utah. But, he could be good reinforcements later in the year, get him going, and he could be a whole other good addition and new look to our team when he is healthy and he can get back. But, yeah, I feel bad for Utah. He's had setbacks, but really happy to hear that trip to L.A. that Pascal took on Thursday came back, and everything was good, and the doctor likes it, and they're going to let him probably come back. I want to see him tomorrow. Don't waste time, Nick. Get him back, even if you only play him 10 minutes tomorrow night. It'll be really good. We'd love to see him out on the court. It'll be really good for us to see Pascal out there. If Fee was making his usual shots and the flow was better, they could have won by a margin. It was a bit awkward last night. Yeah, there was a lot of different dumb things happening. Like I said, the refs were really, really orchestrating the game last night. They were dirty. And, even with 17 more shots, more offensive rebounds, getting more turnovers off them, getting more points off the turnovers, we still lost by 1 point. Like, we did all the normal things we do to beat a team. And I really blame ref manipulation and us just not executing at the end. Like, we really needed one of those baskets. Even if we just got one of those 2 baskets that OG missed near the end, or the one that Fred missed, that he didn't hit his dagger when we needed it, that 3-point shot that he had that was open in the last 2 minutes of the game. He just didn't make it. And, this is a whole different thing in how we're feeling right now if one of those shots had gone in. Like, even just one of those shots. The speed was okay. He, because he didn't start, he didn't get as much run. And, he hit a 3. And, he was really aggressive with his getting behind guys and trying to steal. I love those behind steals, or those steals that reach around like Gary's been doing lately. Like, you don't see those very often because teams don't trust the rest of their defense to cover up their mistake if they go for that chance of trying to steal it that way. And we do it all the time. It's like a really weird hybrid steal I've never seen before. It's like reaching kind of from a different angle. Very weird steals. All right, let's see. Sue. Yeah, we dropped the ball on Allen's 3-point shot with 3 seconds left on the shot clock. We left our foot off defense. No, I mean, I don't think that's totally what happened there, Sue. I think he just hit a big fluke shot. Like, he shouldn't have made that shot. And it was like at the last second, and it was just a really annoying shot. Like, that shot was, in a way, what helped them win, obviously, because it was a big 3-point there. And it just all right. Teflon, good morning. Glad to have you here. Welcome. A win last night would have put us in second. Now we're in 8th place. Yeah, that's how tight and close it is right now. This is the beginning of the year. There's a lot of teams that are clustered up and close to each other. There'll be a little bit more separating out and stuff like that as we go through the season. But, it's too early for us to worry about that kind of stuff. We still have a winning record. That's the way I kind of look at it, is to get in the playoffs, you got to be 500 or up. And as long as we stay a winning team, we should be in the playoffs. So that's the way I look at it. I'd love to be like a 600 team, or, something like that. Like we are so far. We're 600 team, 6 out of 10 wins. So, we'll see. It's so early. It's tough. Those things kind of don't really matter. Like my buddy Stevie Roots this week, he's like, "We're in the playoffs. We're in the playoffs." Tell people shut up. I'm like, dude, it's so early, man. Come on. Raps were 5 for 9 from the line. That needs to get better. That's huge. That's a huge problem with last night. We lose by 1 point. We had 4 gimmies that we missed, and they were each by each guy. And like I was saying earlier, I really think it's because of the physicality. They're hitting us so hard that before we get to the line, we need to take a break and really get ourselves collected. Because Fred VanVleet, he usually hits like almost 90% of his free throws, and he's missing a lot of free throws this year. And I think that a lot of that has to do with them just throwing him on the ground and him being all beat up when he gets to the line. He's like, his body's all messed up. He has to take a second, misses the first one, and then he can make all the rest of them. But yeah, I really look at that. The Raps, yeah, they got a 7'2" guy. What is his name? Is like Romero or something. They were talking about him the other day. Let's see. Okay, we got about a half an hour. Well, like I said, I can blame the refs. I can blame poor execution. I can blame missed free throws. I can blame not playing Chem in the second half to start, like after halftime. There's a lot of different areas we could look at and see where there were problems and why it went down the way it went down. Like, honestly, kudos to Cleveland. They're very scrappy and resilient. They play a lot like us. They're a lot like us. It was like playing in a mirror, except for their team's constructed a little bit differently. They actually have centers, but they're playing a dual point guard too, which is something we should really capitalize on more the next time we play them. We need to back down those two, Sexton and Garland, and just shoot over them. And honestly, what I saw in that game last night was OG can operate and score at will if he wants to. He's just got to make the shots. They're not going to be able to stop him. He's unstoppable. And in reality, Scotty's that way too. He's too young. He doesn't realize all of his power yet and hasn't harnessed it. But Scotty can do that too to them eventually. But he's still a young Padawan learning. So we'll get there. Sue, I'm worried about how many minutes Fred VV is playing. We may wear him out if he has to do it every day. Yeah. This is something I worried about a lot in the mid 2010s with Kyle and DeMar, because that's what was happening. We'd overplay them all season, and they'd get average 40 minutes a game, and then at the end of the season they're gassed and they're useless in the playoffs, and that was a huge problem. Yeah, so I do have this fear too, Sue, but I think that we're real smart. We'll be smart about it near the end of the year and make sure Fred gets the right kind of rest. But also in some ways he wants to win, and Fred wants to be out there, and Nick's going to help him by putting him out there, even if he shouldn't be out there as much. But I think they'll figure it out by the end of the year, a little bit of Kawhi load management, and he should be okay. MK, Gary's still getting some incredible steals. Yeah, he had 6 steals last night. He's so good. Who would have thought that he would be so essential to us right now with what we're doing, on defense? I wouldn't have called this. I wouldn't have said, oh, Gary Trent is one of our most important defensive players in the first 10 games of the season. No, I didn't see that happening. I don't think anybody saw that happening. And did anybody watching the game last night see his dad in the interview last night, Gary Trent Sr.? Really fun to hear him talk, and the little back and forth between him and Alvin Williams about when they played together on the Raptors. And, Gary Trent Sr. was such a different player than Gary Trent Jr. So different. Gary Trent Sr. was a power forward, and he really was they kind of called him Baby Shaq. He was Shaq the Mac or something like that. And he played really big for a guy who was really only 6'7", 6'8". He wasn't that tall. And he was like a Barkley kind of size guy. He was bigger than he was bigger than he was. He played bigger than he was. But yeah, that was fun. I love the fact that the Trents really appreciate the Raptors organization, and they're real Raptors. Gary Trent Sr., the way he was talking about the Raptors last night, he made me feel real good that that's part of the reason why Gary Trent Jr. is so bought in and wanting to play for us, is because of his dad and how he felt when he played here for us. And that's great. That's generational. And I love it. I love seeing that there's generations of players that have played for the Raptors now. We're getting to that point in our franchise, 25 years in. That's pretty awesome. Okay, well, let's see. It's 40. Let's not dwell on this too long, guys. Let's take this 1-point loss and just kind of, feel it, let it stew a little bit, and really look forward to Brooklyn tomorrow. Hopefully Pascal's back, and we can just get this bad taste out of our mouth and get a really nice, cool victory over Brooklyn. I mean, I feel good about it, guys, because honestly, Brooklyn's one of those kind of teams that'll take us lightly and not understand who we actually are. And I want to really mess them up. I want Kevin Durant to be upset. I want all that kind of stuff to happen. Let's see. Teflon. Boucher, Dragic trade rumors to Pelicans for Jackson Hayes and a few other picks. Ooh, interesting. Oh yeah, I should bring this up. G. Yeah, you're right. It's sad. I don't do a whole lot with trade speculation, Teflon. I like to deal with what we got on the ground, but there's definitely trade rumors out there. I'm not surprised that Boucher's name is in there right now just because of things. But, as long as we get a good quality center, because that's really what we need right now on our team. We don't need anything else. So if we're going to make a trade, it should be for a center. Okay, G. Yeah, they waived Decker. It's sad. I thought it was going to be Bonga, but it was Decker. So, yeah, it's too bad. It just is. But it is part of the business. And it's just how it is. And, that's too bad. I kind of wanted really to see him get a good run in a regulation game and see him do something like what he did against Washington in the preseason, but it just didn't happen. Oh, well. MK47, onward to the next one. Yeah. I'll be back tomorrow for the preview for the Brooklyn game. The game tomorrow is at 3 p.m., y'all. So figure out your schedule for tomorrow in a way that where you don't miss the game, because I know Sundays, people have free time. They can do whatever they want, but you may be scheduling something for your daytime and you didn't realize the game's at 3. So, all right. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for following me. Thanks for being here this morning and liking and interacting with me. I really appreciate it. You guys helped me remember stuff. Gee, I totally was going to forget to talk about Decker just now, and you just brought it up. Yeah, tomorrow will be a fun game. This season just rolls on. It's like it's on to the next one. Let's see. Yeah, we want to see KD get frustrated. Kenrick, good morning. This is a game we can learn from. We had a few breakdowns, not too many free throws in the second. Yeah, this free throw discrepancy is disgusting. And if we ever get to a trial with lawyers and judges, and we have a case against the NBA for being against us and all this kind of stuff, we can just bring all the raw data stats. How many free throws that this team has taken compared to all the other teams it's played over the years and stuff like that. And bring a character witness named OG Anunoby to the stand, and he could talk about how he doesn't get any calls from the referees because he isn't right now. And I truly believe that the NBA refs get bulletins before games, and one of them is don't give any foul calls to OG right now. Like, that's serious. I'm very serious about this. So, all right, let's see what else is going on. Oh, Teflon KD tweeted he's ready for Toronto. Oh, yeah, he's always ready. Oh, I'm sure Golden State was ready. They felt like they were ready in finals game number 1. Oh, yeah, they did. But then after the game, Steve Kerr was like, oh, we didn't scout them. What an idiot. Yeah, they thought they were ready for us. And I think that this is the same thing. KD said he was ready for us in the finals, game 1, when we saw what happened. So we'll see, KD. Come and bring your mac and cheese, and we'll see if we eat it too. Oh, yeah. Andrew, let's go tomorrow, baby. 3 p.m. start. Game day tomorrow. Scotty, Garden, KD. Oh, yeah, let's see that. I'd love to see that. Listen, hey, we know OG can guard KD. So, hey, let's try Scotty on him for a little bit. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate y'all. Be proud, Raptors. Don't let the cynics and all the negative ninnies and all the dumbasses out there that do Raptors content, they're going to talk about how shitty we are now and we're pretenders and we're garbage and all that. Don't listen to them. They're idiots. These guys, these pessimistic Raptors experts, fans, content makers, they can all go to hell. I'm sick of them. I did that show this week, and I'm just sick of them. I don't want to be around these people no more. I don't want to watch their shit. I don't want to listen to them anymore because really, what are you giving us? You're just giving us misery. You're giving us negativity. You're telling us that we should be down on ourselves. So you just go to hell. That's what I'm saying to those content makers right now. All right, y'all. Brooklyn tomorrow, baby. Let's eat some KD.